hate doing lives with no like setup, but this is an early morning live. Whew, forgive me while I get myself situated to set myself up. Now, I'm never on live this early in the morning, but when I came in from court yesterday, I was so mentally drained. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. I just crashed and burned. So, I didn't get a chance to give you guys the video that I was supposed to give y'all, which was the update on everything. Okay, I guess I could at least like make myself look somewhat presentable. I'm looking crazy out here, guys. I'm looking crazy. I'm trying to get my setup set up. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. 3:30 in the morning, and Henny is up to do a lot of content. Okay. And give you the content I shall. Now, see, this what I be talking about. You go live on YouTube, and then Henny come over here on YouTube. And where's everybody? Everybody's still sleeping. That's what happened. Everybody's still sleeping. So, now that we've got our setup somewhat set up, let me find us a nice little backdrop. Ooh, wee. You know what? We're just gonna put her picture up there. This woman right here. Baby, let me tell you, baby. Now, first of all, before we even get into it, let's start off with this. What's going on outside the courtroom, the temperature is different outside the courtroom versus inside the courtroom. You've got all these people outside. Hey, T. All these people outside where every day it feels like it's somebody new that's been added into the Diddyverse to be out there advocating for him, rallying for him, pleading his innocence, all of that. Every day is somebody new, damn near. So, while people are talking about Usher and Justin Bieber and Tupac and Biggie and you know, minors, things with minors and things of that nature. The big freak-offs that, you know, the parties, the Diddy parties that turned into after parties, and the after party that was an after party to the after party. Hey, Nessa, that's not being talked about. That's not what's going on in court. So if you're wondering why nobody's speaking to that, that's why, because it's not being brought up in court. Okay, that is not what the prosecution has brought up. We haven't even seen unaliving on his indictment. That's going on outside the court. What's going on inside the court, totally different. Okay? We're not talking about freak offs where it's these grand parties filled with all of these celebrities and they just getting down and dirty and getting busy. That's not what we're talking about in the courthouse. We're not talking about hey Isha, that's so true and crazy, but I accidentally okay, the weirdos are out. I don't understand. I don't understand why my sound is full of static. Let me try to. It's still staticky. My phone is dying, and I can't plug my microphones in. I'm trying to see. This is really getting on my nerves. Just so y'all know, I don't know what's going on with my phone. It seems like ever since I got here, this phone is acting crazy. But it seems like ever since I've gotten up here, my phone has been doing that weird sound and it's annoying because it's affecting people's experience when they come into my live. I don't know what that is. I really don't know what it is. I haven't dropped my phone. My phone hasn't gotten wet. I haven't gotten a new phone case. So I have no idea what's going on yet because I have to put my microphone in. But the microphone is in, the phone is not charging. So the phone is going to die on y'all. So then there's that. It's annoying. I'm just being so honest with y'all. It's annoying as hell. Like I don't know why my sound is like that. Anyway, let me try to get this out as best I can, and I'm just gonna have to try to edit this part out. So take one, boop, action. So let's go back to what I was saying prior to all of the sound issues that were going on. So, what's going on inside the court and what's going on outside of the court, two totally different things. Inside the courtroom, they're more focused on um, they're more focused on Diddy as an individual and his enterprise. They're not getting into all of the gossipy parts of things. There's no unaliving on there, so you will not hear about. Well, you may not hear about Tupac or Biggie. You know what happened with them. You may not hear about Justin Bieber and Usher, which are names that have not come up in this. Let me tell you this right now. Those names have not come up in this at all. We heard 50 Cents. We heard Suge Knight. We've heard, Cassie, of course. We've heard um, different names that have been mentioned, Lauren London and all of that stuff. But we have not heard anything as far as Usher or Justin Bieber or any of that. So if anyone is telling you that, they're lying. That's not what's going on in this courtroom. You have a lot of people that are saying that they're in the courtroom when they're really not in the courtroom, making it seem like they're in the courtroom, but they're not. Um, I could tell you who's in the courtroom. At least from the overflow room that I've been in, I could tell you who's been in that courtroom. And based off of some of the things that people say, you could tell that they haven't really been in the courtroom because they don't know everything that's going on in there. But at the end of the day, what I will say is, again, they really have been breaking down the RICO. When they bring in these assistants are speaking to the RICO charges that are on the case. Okay. You're hearing about the grueling hours that they worked. You're hearing about the abuse that they've witnessed, the abuse that they suffered. You're hearing about all of that. And one thing that people keep asking is, why did they go back? Why did she keep going back? Why did George Kaplan, why did he remain quiet? Why did Cassie keep going back? Why y'all keep asking this question? But meanwhile, we've had a whole psychologist that came in and spoke to the mindset of someone who has been groomed, basically. So we've had all of that. Not only that, you hear people telling you why without telling you why. You got to listen to what people are saying and listen for what they're not saying as well. And the thing is, Capricorn broke it down so well on that stand and told everybody why. Because he had thug friends that would come after you if you didn't do what he told you to do. See what happened to her when she tried to leave? She got the ish beat out of her. Gino, somebody who's paying attention. I don't care. She went back. She's a competitor. I guess you mean conspirator. She picked the people who she was going to smash too. Who are you talking about, Xavier? And I hope you're not that dude, because there was a dude that was down there yesterday that was talking about, oh, that's not sex trafficking. Do you even know what it is? Have you even looked up what the legal definition of it is to be trafficked? How do you not see the trafficking? The state to state, the out the country, to engage in prostitution acts or to engage in acts of prostitution where you are paying for people. No, she picked the men. So in my eyes, she did not pick the men. You must have her confused with Jane because Jane picked her men at one point. But either way, are you at the court, Xavier? Are you at the court? Because what I'm not about to do is sit up here and keep going back and forth with people who are in the court of public opinion, who are not dealing in the facts, who are not sitting in the courtroom and actually taking notes day after day after day after day, taking notes. I'm in the courtroom. I'm in the courtroom. I'm hearing what these people are saying. Yet more fully grown adults seeking attention and likes. Come on now, grow up and do something. I don't know who you're talking about, Silver, but I know it ain't me. I know you ain't talking to me. So let me get to who child. Capricorn said a lot yesterday. People were able to get out of that circle. Yeah, they weren't able to get out of that circle. And I'm going to explain to you why. This, I swear to y'all, I cannot make this up. I'm about to show y'all all of Capricorn's testimony. At this point, I'd say about a 2, if I'm being honest. He's going down. If he doesn't go down for all of it, he's going down. All they need is 1. And I can tell you, they've proven at least 2 already. All of this was Capricorn Clark's testimony yesterday. All of this. All of it. Do you see how many pages this is? All of this is Capricorn Clark. And it's front and back. It's front and back. It's front and back. It's front and back. Silver, I don't know what you call distracted. I see it exposing an aspect of life that we've only heard about, that we've heard speculation and mumblings about. It's now being told on a stand. But you're here though, Silver. So you are just as bad. Anyway, let me go to some of these other comments, because you ain't talking to me. Diddy is done at least 20 years. You're never too old for prison when you are out here committing acts. Now, let me tell you what I'm seeing, what I'm getting out of here for those, you're distracted, you're distracted, you're distracted. How are we so distracted when this is a piranha that's in the community? This is something that keeps happening within our community. But the bigger question about this is, who taught this behavior? Who taught them this behavior? We keep watching people go into this music industry. We keep hearing people talking about, oh, I went into these mansion parties. We've been hearing about mansion parties, which were freak-offs for a very long time. And now it's sad that the industry is being exposed on the back of Diddy, but it's being exposed. See, I was asked a question yesterday. What's the difference between R. Kelly and Diddy? R. Kelly exposed a perverse nature. Diddy is exposing the inner workings. That's what the cases show me. Because when this woman got on the stand and this woman began to cry uncontrollably to the point where we couldn't even understand her, and we're looking at each other like, what did she say? And when we were finally able to really start hearing what she was saying, she exposed why they stayed, why these assistants endured what they endured until they couldn't endure it anymore. She explained why she kept going back to Diddy. No Way Out. That ain't just the album. That's actually the way that this was. When she left, when Diddy got rid of her, and when she left, well, first of all, she left, and then she came back because Diddy wanted her back. And he offered her a higher position where she wouldn't be working in close proximity with him anymore. So she said, okay, I'm not going to be working up underneath him no more. I'm going to be over in a whole nother division. That's fine. She gets in there. It's the same thing. When she's gone from Bad Boy, you know what she told us? How she was blacklisted unable to get a job in the music industry. How Jimmy Iovine called her into his office to tell her they need to talk. She's thinking that it's, come into my office, come see me. She's thinking that he's going to give her a job. She gets in that office for Jimmy Iovine to tell her, leave Puff alone because this ain't going to end well for you. She's going to interviews, trying to get other jobs. And who's showing up? Diddy and freaking Andre Harrell. So she's unable to move within the industry. She's blacklisted. So with her story, there's a reason why. Now, I gave y'all little bits and pieces. Let's get into it. All right. So when she took the stand, she got up there. She had on a white blouse. She had her hair pulled back into a ponytail, like I told y'all earlier. She had on glasses. She was very even toned, okay, when she first started out. All right. Now, Capricorn Clark has worked at Def Jam. And shortly after she got the job at Def Jam, her mother and her father passed, not together, but within a short time frame, they both passed away. She did attend college. She was signed to Death Row Records. And she was under Suge Knight. Then she moved to New York in 2002, and that's when she met Diddy. And she met Diddy through a mutual friend. In 2004, she began working at Bad Boy, okay? And when she went on to work for Bad Boy, the first time she worked for him was from 2004 to 2006. Um, she was Diddy's personal assistant. So she was an executive assistant. So we've already heard from two other executive assistants as well. And based off of her time frame, they came in after her. All right. So she shadowed him. She shadowed him from before he woke up until he released her in the evening. She left in 2006 and returned in 2007 to work for Sean John's Women. She worked for the global promotions of that side of the company. Her job working for Sean John Global, the women's division, was for her to continue to grow the brand, take the brand to new levels, and create new ideas. Okay. And then she would 2008 to 2012, she came back and she worked again. But see, this is where we're going to end up getting sound issues. In 2016, she came back as Cassie's creative director. And she worked as Cassie's creative director until 2018. All right. So now we're going to get into the 2004, her being the personal assistant. So on the first day of the job, Diddy took Capricorn. Now they had gone to Central Park before or whatever, but earlier in that day, during the daytime. Now Central Park during the day versus Central Park at night, two different environments. You already get like a creepy feeling in certain areas of Central Park, but Central Park at night is definitely not a place that you want to be, especially in 2004. Okay, that was not a place. But Capricorn, Diddy, and Uncle Paulie go to Central Park at 9 p.m. And when they're in Central Park, Diddy tells Capricorn that he didn't know that she had anything to do with Suge Knight. Now you have to remember that Diddy and Suge Knight had this very public feud, but we didn't know just how gangsta it was behind the scenes. And when I say gangsta, I mean I'm talking about Diddy rushing out the house with to go run down Suge Knight and all of that. It got real nasty between them. So Diddy says to her, if anything happens, then I'm going to unalive you. Now, Uncle Paulie is standing there. He says absolutely nothing. They asked her what Diddy's demeanor was when he said this to her, and she said calm. And that seems to be a theme that we keep hearing from people when they ask about his demeanor when he's making threats, when they ask about his demeanor when he's saying certain things to them. They asking, what is the demeanor? What was he like? Calm.
The only time we see him out of control and raging out is when he is putting hands, feet, and knee bows on Cassie. Let me see what some of y'all are saying in these comments. Am I allowed to be saying what on live? Excuse me. There are at least 3, maybe 4 jurors that have made their mind up not guilty, and this will end in a mistrial. I truly believe it probably will. I don't know. For all we know, they probably could have been paid off. Who knows? Cassie, creative director, she wasn't making music. Actually, Sally, she was making music. The thing is, it was like, oh, we're gonna work on this project, and then Diddy would take it away. And Capricorn spoke to that too. Now, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to take y'all off of this speaker because my phone is gonna die soon. So if it starts making noise, please bear with me and stay through the noise. I promise you we'll get through it. Now, she said that he was calm when he made this threat, and she took the threat very serious, but she didn't know about any of the possible issues with Suge Knight at the time. Okay. Now she says that Uncle Paulie was there. Um, they asked her why did she not leave at that point, and she said that she continued the employment because she felt that she could be more transparent about her background. And this wasn't the only time that she was threatened. So, she felt like, okay, well, I don't have nothing to hide. I don't have anything to do with anything that's going on. So I don't have nothing to worry about. All right. She says Uncle Paulie was over the security. What they did, and I mentioned this to y'all earlier in my other video, what they did was they put photographs of Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, um, excuse me, what is his name? Why Roger Bonds and Ruben. Ruben is Roger Bonds' younger brother. These were all of the security that was closely around Diddy. They put their photographs up there and she was able to identify them by photo. So there's faces now in the courtroom that go to these names that we keep hearing coming up continually. All right. Um, so all the security has been identified. Security was around Diddy all day. So from the time he woke up to the time he went to sleep, security was surrounded by Diddy. She observed Diddy with pum-pums, okay? And the night that he kidnapped her, he did have one. All right. She said she overheard Diddy talking about pum-pums. They were at an MTV press with 50 Cent, and Capricorn and Chris Whitey and Diddy got on an elevator. Whitey at the time was managing 50 Cent, and on paper, he was managing Diddy. So when they say on paper, that means on paper, that's the manager, but in reality, that's not. So, Diddy says to Whitey he didn't like the back, he don't like the back and forth. He likes pew pews, referring to issues that he had with 50 Cent. Now, call me ignorant, call me out the loop. Maybe I missed it. I'm not sure, but I didn't even know that 50 Cent and Diddy had any type of issue like that, where it was like pum issues. Diddy also, I had told y'all about this earlier when he accused Capricorn of stealing from him because he had a diamond necklace, bracelet, and watch that were on loan from Jacob the jeweler. Now, you heard me correctly, loan, meaning that they were loaning jewelry. And I believe this is something a lot of the celebrities do. We just don't be knowing. See? This is where she says she was taken to that building that I had told y'all about earlier. But in case you missed it, let me just go ahead and let me give it to y'all. So what happened was this jewelry was given to her. They were on their way to Miami. And so Capricorn is leaving the bad boy offices and she notices that the jewelry is missing. So she tells the driver, stop the car. She calls up there to the bad boy offices. She tells security, lock the building down, check everybody. The jewelry is missing. All right. Not D-Rock, Uncle Paulie questions her at length about everything that she did that day. Where did you go? Where did you have it? Trying to see, checking her temperature. Where were you at? How did you end up losing this jewelry? So he takes her home, drops her off the next morning. He picks her up. He tells her, I'll be here in the morning to pick you up. He picks her up. He takes her to this building that would later become the offices of Bad Boy and Sean John. And she goes in there. It's dilapidated. It's an abandoned building. They go inside. The guy outside locks the door when they go in. He takes her up to the sixth floor. There's a big, heavy set guy. She says the size of two linebackers that's up there, chain smoking cigarettes and smoking coffee. There's a folding table in there with 6 chairs. Paulie leaves her in the room with this guy and says if she doesn't pass this lie detector test, she's going in the East River. So now she's scared. She's nervous. She don't know what's going on. She don't know if she's going to make it out of this building alive. So she's in there, and this guy is administering a lie detector test to her. And this went on for hours. Hours. She said she was there the length of a workday. So that's 8 to 10 hours that she was in there plugged up to this machine. Now, the first time that she did it, that she took the lie detector test, it came back inconclusive. So the guy who's administering the test is telling her, look, you have to calm down or you're going to end up in that river. Like, you got to calm down. So she kept going, kept going. She said at the end of the day, Paulie came and got her, took her home, and said to her, I'll be here in the morning to pick you up. This went on for a period of 5 days. Again, during that period of 5 days, there was no phone call from Diddy looking for her. There was no phone call that she knows of that he put out there looking for her. No questioning of where she is during these 5 days. She told no one. She did nothing but go home, go to sleep, come back and do this lie detector test. Now, why did she continue to put herself through that? She said because she wanted to prove her innocence. Like, she wanted to prove like she had nothing to do with it. They were asking her questions like, did you set this up for somebody to take it? Did you take it? Did you purposefully like put it somewhere for somebody to get it? Like, she was going through a line of questioning. At the end of that, we don't know if she passed the lie detector or not. But obviously she must have at some point. I don't know. But she said that following Monday, she returned to work. She was back at Diddy's side. Diddy never asked her where she was, never brought up, never brought up the fact that she was missing for 5 days. And they never talked about the jewelry again, which I found highly suspicious. Because if the whole premise and reason for her to be plugged up to a lie detector for hours, for 5 days, was to get to the bottom of where this jewelry went to, you would think that you would find the jewelry. So we never found out where this jewelry went to, if it was ever recovered, if he just ended up paying for it. We don't know. We don't even know who stole the jewelry. Things just went on as normal. Like, it was a normal day. So all right, so then that's that part. Let's see. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. All right, so that's of course, when she mentioned about being placed in the East River, the defense tried to object on it, but they just kept it moving. Like, that little objection did absolutely nothing. All right, that's where the results were inconclusive. That was the 5 days. Diddy never reached out at the end of the 5 days. Okay, Diddy never brought it up. All right, so here we are. Now, when it gets into the tasks that she had to perform, she said she had to perform a variety of tasks. And if she failed, she would be fired. Now, imagine that, working under that type of pressure. Like, you can't make one mess up, one foul step, or you're going to be fired. She, like the other interns, worked a total of 20 hours a day, sometimes 22 hours a day, affording her only 4 hours of sleep on a good night, she said, and 2 hours of sleep. All right. The jewelry was never stolen. It was a setup to break her. That's what I believe. But I just want to give y'all what happened in the test, in the like what was going on in the courtroom before I get into, my conspiracy theories and stuff. She developed alopecia from the stress that she was enduring while she was there at the job. And she was only making a total of $65,000 as his assistant for 20 hours a day. All right. So she said she went down to the human resources because she was not being properly paid. She went to HR, and the Love did a review. Now, I can't remember Love's last name. at this immediate moment, and I did not write it down because the name did not come up at that point. But anyway, HR did a review, and they found out that she was owed $83,000 per 3 months. So every 3 months, she should have been receiving an additional $83,000 on top of what she was being paid. Well, baby, when that paper was given to Puff, Puff looked at it and ripped the paper up, and she was never paid that money that was told that was owed to her. So now here you go. You're looking at this is improper wages. So you're working your assistants to the bone. They're under a continually stressful it's a stressful environment and not properly being paid. Now I know what y'all are going to say. I would have left. I would have been left. I would have been left. But you got to think of the era that we're in. We're in the 90s. This is bad boy. People are not just up and leaving bad boy. I'm not giving them an out because I feel like, the Bible tells us that the love of money is the root to all evil. And that's what we're seeing. The love of money is definitely the root to all evil. There is no getting around that, people. If you don't take nothing else from this, that should be something that you take out of this, is the love of money is the root of all evil. Period. Period. All right. So she said that Diddy stayed at hotels at least once a week. And he stayed at hotels once a week with Kim Porter. Now, the thing about this for me was this is the first time that I'm actually hearing Kim Porter being brought up in a manner of being at hotels. This is the first time that we hear, no, it's not from the job Callie is active. It's not from the job. It's from the stress. Like, I don't understand how some of y'all could find some of this stuff hilarious when this is actually affecting them. But you know what it is? Because y'all didn't see what she was going through on that stand. You didn't see what all of these people are going through when they're sitting on these stands testifying because you're not in the courtroom. So you don't see it. Um, so she would then, just like the other assistants, she would pack his bags for him and she would unpack the bags for him. Like, she would go ahead, she would set up the hotel rooms. And we hear some of the common AKAs that the rooms were being charged under or put under, which were the names of Frank White, Frank Black, and Jackie Starr, which we know Jackie Starr was Cassie's alias. So when she would unpack his things, there would be like clothes and shoes and toiletries. And he had a camera box. And she described this camera box as a big silver box. She said it would be 3 point and shoot cameras and 1 small recording device. Also, a small bottle of baby oil and a small lube would be in that bag. In the toiletry bag would be prescription and street pharmaceuticals, and it was a Louis Vuitton bag. This bag went everywhere, every time. It was everywhere at all times, as did the cameras. The hotel stays would be 3 to 4 days, and she was on call for Diddy while he was at the hotels. But this would be like the only time that she would actually get like a break from him because he wouldn't really be calling her unless he absolutely needed something. After he was done at the hotels, she would then go and do the cleanup. And she said, just like the others had said, there would be baby oil everywhere, on the floors, on the sheets, on everything. She said in one of the hotel rooms that he was in, there was a suede wall. There was a baby oil handprint on the suede wall. Now, what was going on in those hotel rooms with Kim, we don't know. We have no idea what was going on in those rooms. So I don't want to say that Kim was in there with freakoffs, especially being that it was small bottles of baby oil and things of that nature. I don't know. I'm not trying to put that allegation out there. So please don't say that Henny said Kim was involved in freakoffs. All I'm saying to you is what Capricorn said. And Capricorn said that they would go to the hotel for 3 to 4 days. And that's it. And he liked to stay at three specific hotels when he was in LA. Now, Diddy and Cassie, when they started out, they weren't, heavily on these pharmaceuticals, all right? And at that point in time, back in the early 2000s, Diddy's pharmaceutical of choice was e-pills. Now, she says at some point in time, Diddy and Cassie began taking IV drips. Diddy had told Capricorn it was to replenish after partying with E all weekend. So this is where this gets introduced into play. Unfortunately, we didn't get a timeline or a time frame as to where this was at this particular point in time, but now we're seeing the IVs being brought into play. At his Beverly Hills home, one time Diddy had Capricorn, Lauren London, and Chef Jordan in the kitchen, and he asked why they didn't have men like him. Why you don't have men like me? So he called Cassie into the kitchen with them, and he began giving her commands. Grab this, go here, do this, go in there, do this, do that. And when he got done telling her what to do, he told her to go into the other room. He turned to Lauren London and Capricorn and he said, see, you issues won't um you issues won't do that. That's why you issues don't have no man. And guess what? Capricorn said, her and Lauren said, you MFing right. So basically, what that showed right there was the mind control he had over Cassie, to have her come in and tell her, go over there, grab this, sit here, do this, stand here, do that. And then have her, go in the other room. So, yeah, mind control. Okay. Capricorn testified that she saw Diddy take Molly and E once. He used to take it once a week, but then it increased, and he also took prescription pharmaceuticals. She observed Diddy getting rugs from a girlfriend in New York and One Stop in LA. Now they did put a photo of One Stop up on the screen, and we got to see what One Stop looks like. Okay. Um, Diddy would ask Capricorn to go obtain e-pills for him no more than like 10 times a week. So now here you have him using his employees to go purchase street pharmaceuticals. But there's more. Okay. If she didn't go get it, he would go get it on his own. Diddy did get rugs from give rugs to his girlfriends and friends, and he asked her to go get rugs for his friends as well. So Capricorn has gotten them for his friends as well. She also recalled one time when they were in the south of France, and Diddy asked her to go get some booger sugar, and she asked who it was for, and he said not me. And so she asked the Spanish dude to go get it. Diddy also would ask Capricorn to go get his prescription pharmaceuticals for him, and he would get prescriptions in Capricorn's name. And the reason he would get prescriptions in Capricorn's name, just like with the other assistants, is because he had maxed out the amount of the word is escaping my mind right now. Opioids. He had maxed out on the amount of opioids that he could get for the year, so he started using her name. Now, we heard this with the other assistants as well. That's illegal, and he's using his employees to do this. This is where RICO is coming into play, guys. All right, the enterprise. Remember that. She did see Diddy with large amounts of money. One time she saw him with 100K euro, which at that point in time equaled out to be 150 US. So, if I'm not mistaken. She also observed Diddy fighting with men like Uncle Paulie and the barber. And she said that Diddy would throw phones at people when he would get upset. All right. Now, in 2006 on Star Island, this is when Diddy brought Capricorn with him to Miami and told her that she couldn't leave the house. Well, when he had a business meeting with Pharrell's manager, he sent her on a task to go do something, and she ended up staying an extra hour. Doing that task. And Diddy called her and asked her where the F she was. that she needs to get back to the house. And she said when she got back to the house, Diddy told her, I told you you can't go anywhere. And that's the problem. You want to have a life. And this ain't that. Okay, you guys.
I think it's gonna start sounding crazy. I hope it doesn't. But if it does, just bear with me, please, because I have to plug in or my phone is gonna die. Um Now, when it comes down to 2011, Capricorn, she was living in a gated community. The home that she was living in, it was paid for by Bad Boy. All right. Her home was paid for by Bad Boy. Her car was paid for by Bad Boy. Her phone was paid for by Bad Boy. All right. So she says that Cassie would visit her at her home, mostly when Diddy was out of town. All right. Or if she wasn't staying in the hotel. But Capricorn estimated to be about 30% of the time that Cassie did stay with her. Now, she confirmed that Kid Cudi and Cassie were kind of in a relationship. She defined it as them getting to know one another, but not really like hardcore boyfriend and girlfriend. She did say that Kid Cudi came to our house one time, and he liked to drink Jameson, okay? And so a Jameson bottle was left on the counter for everybody to see. I don't know why that is so important. I'm actually in a conundrum right now because I'm like, damn, do I go to court today or do I go handle my business that I need to go handle? Because I do have some personal affairs that I need to take care of. Um, but today they're gonna have the LA Fire Department, the arson investigator, and they're gonna have LAPD up there. And Mia is supposed to be coming to testify today, guys. I can't miss that, but it's like, damn, I'm gonna miss that. Anyway, so where were we? All right. So now Cassie brought Cudi to the apartment. They discussed Cudi. Capricorn Capricorn thought that Cassie dealing with Cudi was a bad idea. And one time when Cassie had texted her pertaining to Cudi, she told her that that was a very bad idea, that she was very concerned about Diddy finding out. And so she told Cassie to delete the text messages and took her to Best Buy. And that's when she bought a burner phone, okay? So they had the burner phone going so Cassie would be able to talk to Diddy and, talk to Cudi and not get in trouble because guess what? Cassie's phone was paid for by Bad Boy as well. So Diddy could actually find out what was going on. At the time when all of this getting to know each other was going on, apparently Diddy was out of the country. All right. And so he returned back. And Capricorn says on December 22nd of 2021, before Christmas, she got a loud bang on her door. She said the banging on the door sounded like metal on metal, like the way it was hitting, because her door was metal, so it sounded like something metal was banging against her door. When she looked through the peephole to see who it was Diddy. Diddy was pacing back and forth, and he appeared to be furious. So she opened the door because he was upset, and she didn't know what was going on. When she opened it up, he had a pum pum. Okay, uh, he had it in his hand. She said he had on a white dress shirt and some gray dress slacks, but they were like ripped from the knee going up. I don't know what happened. He had on some dress shoes. He just looked disheveled and he was really pissed off. And he asked Capricorn, why didn't she tell him? So she was like, tell you what? And he was like, who's Scott? So Cap was like, I don't know Scott. So now Diddy goes Kid Cudi. So now Capricorn says, oh, Cassie's friend. Diddy says, get dressed. We're going to unalive him. So he has this pum pum in his hands, and she tells Diddy that she didn't want to get dressed. And he said he didn't give a F what she wanted and told her to go get dressed. So she goes in there. You had a dream about me last night, really? I hope it was a good dream. No, 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 no. He's fine. Untime him out. Untime him out. Untime him out. He's okay. Gold digger JD be here all the time. He's not a troll. Um. Okay. So she ends up getting dressed, okay? She gets dressed, takes her downstairs. She gets into this black Escalade, okay? And she says everything is just happening so quickly at this point in time. And they're on their way to Kid Cudi's house. All right, Capricorn wasn't sure if Cudi was in the house or not, because that's what she calls him, Cudi. So she wasn't sure if he was in the house or not. Diddy and Ruben went inside and left her in the car. Okay, now at this point in time, when she's on the stand with the defense, that's when we find out that she not only just called Cassie, but she had also called Lauren London. Now, it's unclear if Lauren London was on the phone on a three-way with her at the time or not. She said it's possible. This part of her testimony was a little murky when the defense was asking her about it, because at first she was saying no, Lauren wasn't on the phone, but then she was like, you know what, it's possible. I don't know. It was so long ago, I don't even know if I just clicked over and called her. So, either way, when Diddy and Ruben were inside, breaking into Kid Cudi's home, she called Cassie and she's like, Cass, what the? She's like, Diddy came and got me, to take me to Cudi's house to unalive him. So, at that point in time, she said she changed Cassie's burner phone name from Cassie's backup to her friend's name, Stormy, right? So she could hear Cudi in the background while she's talking and telling Cassie that Diddy is in the house. And he's like, he's in my house. He's in my house. So he leaves. Diddy returns to the vehicle and he took the phone that Capricorn had. And he's like, who you on the phone with? And he calls the number back. And it's Cassie answers it. Naturally, Cassie's going to answer it because she thinks it's Capricorn. So when she answered the phone, Diddy is like, man, what the fuck is this number? Now Diddy is completely furious. At this point in time, this is where her story varies a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. It varies a little bit from Kid Cudi's story, because Kid Cudi's story, he makes it seem like, Diddy wasn't at the house when he got there. However, Capricorn tells a whole different story. And she says that Kid Cudi pulled up next to the SUV, and the SUV was parked right in front of the way his house was. He had a gate. It was like a door to go into the yard, and then you cross the yard to get into the house, right? So the vehicle is facing going up the hill. So Cudi pulls up next to it. Diddy is outside the car. Ruben is outside the car, and Capricorn kind of like notions to them like, this is him. And so they're like, there he is right there. She says Cudi pulled off in the Porsche. She was driving a black Porsche. He pulled off. Diddy and Ruben take pursuit and chase. They're like trying to chase Cudi down or whatever. And so Cudi ends up losing him. And so they're driving around trying to find him. They stop looking for Cudi when they start hearing the police sirens and seeing the lights. So they, she says at this point in time, Diddy calmed down. And that was the first time that she had seen Diddy calm from the moment she got in the car with him. So now at this point, Diddy, they go to the Key Club, and Diddy tells Capricorn to call Cassie. And Cassie, Capricorn is telling Diddy. Diddy told her to Diddy said, let Cassie know, I'm not letting you go until she comes to me. So now he's holding Capricorn hostage. Like, you ain't going nowhere until Cassie gets here. So you tell Cassie to get here or you ain't going nowhere. So Capricorn tells her. Cassie responds and says, come and get me. So here you have Cassie, who's with Kid Cudi, and now she's being sucked back in because she's not going to be let go until she comes to Diddy. So now Diddy tells Capricorn, once you get Cassie, go to Kid Cudi's house and tell him not to tell the police that he was there. If not, he's going to unalive everybody. So Capricorn goes and picks up Cassie. She takes an employee vehicle, like an employee vehicle. It was like an old SUV. She said, like, something just pal around in. She goes and picks Cassie up from the Sunset Marquee. They go over to Kid Cudi's house. At this point in time, the message gets relayed. They were there for like 2.5 hours. They go back to Diddy's house, right? When they show us Diddy's house, it's like a 3-floor mansion. But the way the homes are in California, you have the first level, like where the street level is. You have it looks like it's a 1-level home. But when you look at it from the back, it's like three different floors to it. Beautiful, beautiful. And it was a rental. So she says they get into the doorway, like they walk in, and Diddy is standing there in a robe and his underwear, his boxers. And he begins kicking Cassie. Like he never used his hands. He kicked her and kept kicking her and kept kicking her. And Cassie's like buckling up, buckling up, buckling up until he finally kicks her into the street and she curls up into the fetal position. And he just keeps kicking her. And Capricorn, at this point in time, her voice is cracking. It's quivering. She's sobbing because she's dabbing her face. She's crying, reliving this moment. And she's like, he just kept kicking her. And so she turns to Ruben because Ruben was still there. So she turns to Ruben. She's like, Ruben, help her. Like, do something. Stop him. Because Diddy turns to Capricorn. Let me back up. Before she turns to Ruben, Diddy turns to Capricorn and tells her, if you jump in, I'm going to. So she doesn't jump in. So now she turns to Ruben and she's like, get him. Tell him to stop. Get him off of her. Help her. Ruben does nothing. So she calls D-Rock because D-Rock is Ruben's older brother to tell D-Rock, like, listen, he's not doing anything. Can you call him? Can you tell him, like, make a move? Like, stop him from stomping Cassie out. So she says she gets off, D-Rock's, not D-Rock, Roger Bonds. So she's like, he says nothing. Like, he's like, well, he says, I'm going to call him. So she's standing there. They hang up the phone. She's standing there. She doesn't see the phone ringing. So she calls Uncle Paulie. And she's like telling Uncle Paulie what's going on. She's like, please, you got to stop him. Somebody help her. Uncle Paulie says he will, but nobody ever comes to Cassie's aid at that point in time. Even though she's calling for security, they're not moving. All right. At this point in time, Diddy becomes frustrated with Capricorn and he kicks her out, tells her to get out of here. Now, she says as she's going down the street, she can hear Cassie still being stomped on as she's walking because remember, they came and picked her up. She don't have a car. She didn't have a way back. She had to walk to go back to her house. So she's on foot walking away from the house and she hears Cassie being beat and stomped. Well, stomped, basically. And so she calls Cassie's mom and tells Cassie's mom, call the police, do something because, he's beating on Cassie. So the mom says that she's going to handle it, but Capricorn doesn't know what the end result of any of that was. If she ended up calling and getting the police there or what happened. So Capricorn went to check on Cassie at the hotel where she was staying with Diddy. And the room, she said, was in complete disarray. She said that Cassie's purses were all over the place at the house. Like the room had been ransacked or somebody had been beaten in that room, but it was in a complete disarray. Capricorn broke down crying at this point. And she says she was contacted in March of 2012 by the arson investigators for a statement about what happened with the Porsche. But Capricorn says that she didn't give a statement. She just wasn't trying to be into it. She didn't want to be a part of this no more. Like she don't have nothing to do with it. So Diddy asked Capricorn why she didn't tell him about Cudi and that he was angry. And said he said to her, why you didn't tell me about Cudi? I should unalive you. And I should cut her face. That's what he said to Capricorn. I should unalive you and I should cut her face. She says that when he said this to her, that D-Rock and Cassie were present. So Diddy said that Capricorn and Cassie couldn't be friends anymore and that they could only work together. So at this point in time, Diddy has now severed that friendship. Like, y'all can't be friends no more. Because he felt like Capricorn couldn't be trusted. Um, Capricorn says that she reported this incident to Love Winchild, I believe is the name, and Harv Pierre. And that she spoke to Harv about what happened with the incident with Cassie. And Harv's only response was that it was crazy and that it would be okay. And after this, she was given a 30-day notice. Now, she eventually was terminated. The reason that she was terminated is because they said that she did not properly document for her vacation. However, she said that she spoke to Harv, and Harv had okayed it and cleared it, but they used this as a way to terminate her. Okay, Jazz. Um, she said what happened was Harv approved the vacation, but Love had started sending her work. Like, she was sending her work to do while she was on her vacation. But she says when she got terminated, that she lost everything. And you got to think about it. Remember what I just told y'all. Bad Boy was paying for her housing. They were paying for her car. They were paying for her cell phone. She lost her 401k. She lost everything when they terminated her. Everything. Diddy told her that she would never work again. And that they would make her want to unalive herself or unalive herself. Okay, I'm trying to read my handwriting. All right, Diddy told her that she would never work again, that they would make her unalive herself, and that he was going to show her that these people were not her friends. And that's exactly what he did. He showed her that they weren't her friends, because these people were not willing to go up against Diddy for Capricorn Clark at all. Okay? Now, she sued Diddy in 2012 for improper termination, but they reached a settlement. She again in 2016 worked for Diddy as she had no other options. And that's when she became Cassie's creative director. Because at this point in time, you got to think, she gets terminated and she can't find no work nowhere else. Because Diddy is popping up at places. She's being blacklisted. So she can't get a job anywhere else but to go back to Diddy. Now that's some real narcissistic crap right there. In 2024, when the lawsuit happened, I can give y'all some of the defense, but it's kind of some more of the same. In 2004, after Cassie had did her lawsuit and all of that, Capricorn reached out. Now, the thing is, during this time, let me get y'all the time frame, because I did document that. It's a lot. It's a lot. And trust me, it's a lot more to go. The prosecution did start asking for timelines. So from 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So from 2018, when she was terminated, all the way up to 2022, they had messages, emails, where she was sending Diddy messages like, don't you think it's time to forgive me? You forgetting everybody else, but you haven't forgiven me. Checking in, hope all that is well. Hopefully forgiveness is on the agenda. Hope to see you this year for New Year's. Like, she kept asking for forgiveness over the years from 2018 to 2022, she kept emailing him, not kept emailing him like harassing him, but she was sending emails and asking for forgiveness. Why is she asking for his forgiveness? Because she is blacklisted. She cannot get another job in the industry at all. That means that all of the other creative directors, record executives, top hairstylists, makeup artists, anybody that she had networked and connected with and made connections with in the industry, all of them were like, no, we can't hire you. They would not give her a job because Diddy had her blackballed. Okay? You heard what I said. Jimmy Iovine was the one who called her into his office and told her, leave Puff alone. This ain't gonna end well for you. So executive to executive to executive of each record company, hip hop is not that big. It's small. Now she said that when she saw that Cassie had filed, okay, no, let me go back. She said she got a job with Chris Whitey, but the day she was supposed to sign her contract, Chris Whitey transitioned. I just told y'all about the call from Jimmy Iovine. Then she says that Diddy and Andre Harrell followed her around, showing up when she was looking for employment. She says that her understanding was that was like a scare tactic to keep her from seeking employment. And she wasn't able to get work at all because of her being blacklisted. And she wanted to go back to Diddy for work because she had nowhere else to go. Hey, salute to Australia. She had nowhere else to go. And so in 2024, last year, there was a conversation that was had, or was it 23? There was a conversation that was had between Capricorn, Diddy, and his attorney. And she just really was like trying. She felt like this is the perfect time. Cassie sued him. He's basically like crippled at this moment. Maybe now he can lift this blacklist off of me. Instead of lifting the blacklist off of him, Diddy offers her a chief of, what is it? A chief of staff position. And so because of this conversation that was had, you know, Agnifio, I think that's how you say it. It's not Aglifino. I think it's Agnifio. Anyway, he says to her, we had this conversation. You wanted to go back to work for Diddy. You were ready to work for Diddy. She was like, I didn't want to work for him necessarily. So he was like, but you were asking him, you know, to forgive you all of these years. She was like, I had nowhere else to go. So he was like, but, you know, you wanted to come back and you wanted to work for him. And she was like, no, I wanted my life back. I didn't necessarily want to work for him. I just wanted my life back. And it's like listening to that, it really made you really feel, you know, the stress and strain. She's crying at this point. Like, let me tell y'all this. When she started explaining going back, why she was going back, why she was asking for forgiveness, she broke down crying and she's like explaining it. She's like, I can't even feed my kid. Like, I worked my ass off to get to where I had gotten to, and I just want my life back. I didn't necessarily want to work for him. I just wanted to be able to go back to work. So in that moment, I understood her frustrations. I understood that. There was also another point that the defense was trying to make. The defense was trying to say, you know, what were they trying to say? That she went with Diddy the night that he broke into Kid Cudi's home. That she went with him because she didn't want him to do anything crazy. And he's asking her like, oh, he was like he was enraged, like he was high, right? And she was like, no. Like, The defense was trying to get her to say that Diddy was on something and that's why he was acting the way that he was acting and being irrational. Here's the thing, Scott. If she did sign an NDA, it doesn't even matter because there's illegal criminal acts that have been happening. So once you have criminal acts that come into play, NDAs are no longer, they're null and void at that point. So, um, they also were asking her, because she lived in a gated community, how did Diddy get in? Like, he had to be let in. Somebody had to let him in. And she was saying, you know, like, I don't know who the guard was, but I found out later on that one of the guards let him in because Diddy came there enraged and he had a firearm. So he let Diddy in. Come to find out, that guard got fired. She didn't have any information on that. Why didn't Puff get arrested at the time he beat the women up in a hotel? Because it was on camera, because no one pressed charges. Also, somebody got paid off. He tried to pay off the security guard that reported to the incident to keep it quiet. He also showed up there and offered them $100,000 in a brown paper bag to make the video disappear. Now, when it comes down to why she wasn't calling the police or anything, why would you call the police? Like, when you're going to suffer consequences behind that. Unfortunately for her, I feel like she ended up suffering the consequences of being blacklisted anyway. So it's like at the end of the day, it wasn't even worth it to hold the secret because you still ended up bearing consequences of it, where she can't work in the industry. She has not been able to work in the industry since 2008. 2018. Remain confident. That is such a disgusting and despicable comment that you just made. They kept trying to emphasize that she was not, like, they were trying to make it seem like she didn't get kidnapped and that she went with Diddy on her own reconnaissances because she didn't want him to do anything stupid. But that's not, that's not, no, and that's not my opinion. That is a disgusting comment to make. That boxers get beat up for money and so did Cassie. That's disgusting. Tread lightly. All right. All right. I already told y'all about how she took her in the staff SUV to go get her. We talked about that. She sent him an email in 2015 that said, well, no, those are, okay. So in November of 2018, she sent him an email and she was still asking him to forgive her. Like I said, she was just trying to get that blacklist off of her. They did reach a settlement. Remember, she sued him for improper termination. They did reach a settlement, and in that agreement, Diddy was supposed to give her a reference letter, and there was supposed to be a mutual non. Oh, I can't even read my handwriting. But in that, he was supposed to write her a reference letter that would then lift that blackball off of her, being blacklisted off of her, if he gave her a reference letter. So she says she never got the reference letter. And to this day, to my understanding, she is still underneath that blacklist of being blackballed. Now, she did say that she was upset about Cassie's lawsuit, okay, that was filed in December of 2023. And she reached out thinking it was a good time after the raid happened and all of that. She thought it was a good time for her to reach out regarding her employment, because at this point in time, Diddy's got all of this going on. So she's just like, I think this is a good time for me to just go ahead and just reach out and have him, you know, try to lift this up off of me. She never told the police um, about anything that was going on, because if the police found out about Diddy being involved, it would mean everybody would be at risk. So she didn't do that. Diddy would give her Diddy, okay, now, when it came down to Cassie, the defense was like, oh, Diddy was supportive, you know. Mr. Combs, he was supportive of Cassie and her career. Would you say that that's correct? And she said, you know, in the testimony she gave the prosecution when they talked about her, um, yeah, no, I am. I'm in the courtroom, Camille. So when she asked, hey, boo, adios, um, when they asked her how Diddy was supportive of her, they were saying that she was saying that, you know, Diddy in the beginning he would give, and she was getting like top tier everything, but then over time it was like he would give and take away. So when the defense was asking her about that, she was talking about, you know, how when they were in a good space and Cassie was basically doing what she was supposed to be doing, Diddy would give. But when they would be arguing, he would take it away. And it would be things like he would contact Capricorn and be like, okay, you're going to work on this project. You're going to do this, and this for her for this video, whatever, whatever. But then he would get mad and then he would be like, you're not working on that. You're not doing that. Cancel that. Like he would take it away. So for me, Capricorn showed how he had this influence over people, dangling basically not just their, like, y'all don't understand. Not only did he have Cassie's life in the palm of his hand, he had his employees' lives in the palm of his hand as well. As his personal executive assistant, her house, her car, her cell phone, all paid for by Bad Boy. Guess what? Same thing with Cassie. Everything was paid for by Diddy. So when you have somebody that's controlling your life in that manner, and then he could take your career away. Yeah. You ever wonder why when people leave Diddy or they get away from Diddy, they have to either go in a different direction or you never hear from them again? Because he blackballs them. She testified to that. So it's like a hostage situation. It's no way out. And she testified and showed the mind control that he had over Cassie. She testified and showed how he ruled everybody with an iron fist. So for me, when everybody is talking about RICO, again, I say this all the time, go look up the 35 predicate offenses of a RICO. Then come back to me and tell me you don't see it. When you could sit down and you could talk to me about those 35 predicate offenses, then tell me he didn't see it. Tell me you don't see it. There's the bribery, there's the coercion, there's the force, the violence. Like, come on, this is crazy. He's using his assistants' names to go get opioids. He's using his employees to go purchase his street pharmaceuticals. He's using his employees to cover up his criminal activities. The things that we deem as normal in a society, they do not line up with the law, people. What we make okay is not okay by the law. And I think that's where people are getting this blurred at. So inside of the courtroom, there's one temperature, and outside of the courtroom, it's another. Outside of the courtroom, people are feeling like, you know, oh, he beat her up. It's just domestic violence. Just domestic violence? Are you serious? Domestic violence goes deeper than just the violence. It's psychological. It's psychological warfare. People, you know, I'm watching, I'm watching people say, well, he didn't put a pum pum to Cassie's head and make her go into those freak-offs. No, he didn't. He didn't put a literal pum pum to her head, but there was a proverbial one there. If I don't give him what he wants, my whole career, everything that I've worked for is gone. My whole life is gone. I'm blackballed. I can't go nowhere. I'm going to be stuck. And unless you've ever been underneath those types of pressures, you'll never understand how a person feels living that way. You'll never understand it. It's crazy. It's just, this was so heavy for me to ingest empathically, because I could feel what she was saying. What I will say, thank you so much, Philip, for subscribing. I appreciate you. Welcome to the bar. It gave you a broader scope. No, y'all not victimizing Shorty again. And yes, I definitely understand. What you mean by we're not victimizing her? You cannot use a word like victimize on a victim when you're speaking about what's happening. And Cassie is not a victim, just a victim of her own lust and desire. Silent Hill, go read what 35 predicates, the predicate offenses of a RICO is before you come in here talking to me. How about that? Because you can't say nothing to me when I'm sitting in that courtroom. You can't say nothing to me when I'm sitting in that courtroom. When I'm hearing the full testimony. Not the notes. I'm actually sitting there. You see this notebook? This is what I was just reading from. My notes. My notes. All of this is from sitting in the courtroom. My notes. Go check my page. I'm outside the courtroom giving real-time updates and everything. So at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, understand this. I hate this for Diddy. I hate this for us. I hate this for our culture. I hate this for hip-hop. This was hip-hop royalty. And I think people forget that. People forget that to have Bad Boy on your resume was a badge. People wanted to work for. I wasn't even trying to be a part of the music industry like that, and I wanted to intern for Bad Boy just because. So when people got there, it was like making it to Atlantic Records, Arista Records, Columbia Records, big, though that was a big label back in the 90s. Prince was not mentioned. Yeah, it was. You must not be a part of the culture if you don't understand that. Silent Hill. Def Jam. Rock Nation. Those were ours. It was FUBU, for us, by us. But now to hear all of this, it's heartbreaking. It's yet another stain. So when y'all get up in here and y'all want to champion and rally, do that. That's fine. But don't come in here on that type of timing. To hear all of this stuff that was going on. And what you got to think of, our money was paying for this. Like that's I think people don't really realize that. Double tap the screen and get them likes up, please. It's crazy. And it's like for people to sit up here and say, oh, I don't see no case. There's no case. You think the government is just going to start a case because they want to? Just because they have nothing else to do? They're bored, so let's just create this RICO. Janet, he had to have been like this when he was with J-Lo. The question is, was he like this with her? Why did he and J-Lo break up? Yes, the Southern District of New York. I don't think it's 9. I think it's 98% conviction rate. And this is what I'm saying, but we supported this label. When Diddy got the key to the city, oh, I was celebrating with him. But to hear all of this, oh, you're welcome, overstimulated. Thank you for actually being a part of this live. I appreciate y'all. To hear all of this, to see what happened on that videotape, to see what's being shown in the courtroom. They have the videos and still pictures from the freakoffs, you guys. And while people are talking about y'all are in somebody's bedroom, there's a predicate offense for this type of sexual activity in the RICO. Let me ask you this. Let me say this. Henny Glasses in the chat, if you found the details. No, Aaron Hall wasn't mentioned. The details of the freak-off disturbing. If you found hearing her choking on urine while Diddy and an escort urinated in her mouth and she was choking on it, if you found that disturbing. If you found it disturbing that he was sitting in a corner, wax on, wax off, while she's in a pool, an inflatable pool filled with baby oil and Astroglide, getting busy with an escort. Tell me if you found it disturbing that she had sores in her mouth from friction of the freak-offs. Tell me if you found it disturbing that he was rubbing another man's bodily fluids on his body. Even if you don't drop the Henny glass in the chat, if you found that offensive in any manner, outrageous, egregious, disgusting, that's part of the predicate. That's a predicate offense. That's a predicate offense. Let me see if I could pull that up for you. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It's on that phone. Okay, no problem. Oh no, this is awful. She went through too much. She really did. Okay. So, dealing in obscene manner, that is a RICO predicate. And what this means is knowingly producing or transporting obscene material, which includes images, videos, or recordings, across state lines or for commercial distribution using any means of interstate or foreign commerce, i.e., mail, internet, and shipping. Internet includes emails, all right? The key elements of this is that the material must be legally obscene per the Miller test, which I'm going to tell y'all about. There must be intent to distribute, not just possess privately, which he intended to distribute by blackmailing and threatening to release the freakoff tapes. It must involve interstate commerce, meaning online uploads are crossing state borders. So him having them, that includes even in an iCloud drive. It's in your iCloud. You're traveling across state lines with it in your phone, on your device. That's what they're talking about, okay? Now, the Miller test consists of 3 questions. Does the average person find it appeals to excessive sexual interest? Does it depict sexual conduct in an offensive way? Does it lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific view? Well, let's see. Does the average person find it appeals to excessive sexual interest? Yes. Does it depict sexual conduct that is patently offensive in a patently offensive way? Yes. Does it lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific view? Yes. All 3 of those questions are the Miller test. It now has passed the Miller test, okay? How this applies to Diddy, though, is Diddy allegedly, well, not even allegedly, Diddy recorded the freak-offs, okay, involving non-consensual acts. What is non-consensual? Consent has to be given by a clear and sober mind. You cannot be under the influence of any substance and it legally be considered consensual. The fact that she was on MDMA, Molly, GHB, whatever it was that she was taking, the fact that she was under the influence, it is not consensual. Yes, I just said, Lily, this is one of the RICO predicate offenses. That's why I said go read the RICO. It's called dealing in obscene manner. That's a RICO offense. That's a predicate act of a RICO. A predicate offense of a RICO. Okay? The recordings were stored, transmitted, or moved across state lines and often involved staff or private servers. And because these videos were being transported across state lines, that's what brings it into federal jurisdiction. So dealing in obscene manner under RICO isn't just about porn. It's about illegally creating, transporting, or using graphic, abusive content for control, exploitation, or profit. In Diddy's case, if the recordings meet the obscenity threshold and were part of a pattern tied to a criminal enterprise, they can absolutely count as RICO predicate offense. And it does. So that's why when people are like, why they keep going in that man's bedroom? Y'all all up in that man's bedroom. That's why. Oh, I'm glad you're learning something, Patty Gigi. I learned as well. But anyway, you guys, I'm about to figure out my life because I don't know if I'm going to the trial today or if I'm going to go handle my business, but I have to make a decision and start making a move soon, regardless to what I'm doing, or if I'm just going to take the day to rest because am just getting over being sick. And yeah, I really do want to go because I want to see Mia. Do you think they'll have a conviction soon, given the amount of evidence they already have? We have a few more weeks left of testimony. So we'll see what happens. We haven't even seen who the defense is going to call. As of right now, I feel like the prosecution is laying their case down and they're doing a good job at it. Thank you, Philip. I hope he gets nailed and sent to hell. I would want to go too, Henny. Go where? I'm glad I found your channel. You help to understanding all this. Oh, thank you, Edith. Welcome to the bar. Is he paying people to wear his shirt? That's what I heard. Now, I haven't seen the droves of people wearing the free puff shirts anymore. It was that one day and then that was it. I have just found your channel. Oh, Leah, welcome to the bar. How many people and who is allowed in the trial? What do you mean? How many people are allowed in the trial? So in the main courtroom, you have the family and the supporters, and then you've got like media, but then they have like 14 additional seats in there, and those seats get filled up very quickly. So you have 2 overflow rooms. You have one where everybody goes in, and you got a second one where it's like, in case that room is full, you can go downstairs to the other room and watch, and you watch it on a big screen. Ice Cube has not testified. Yes, they can use that against him, and it sounds like they probably are going to use that against him. But all right, y'all. I think it's absolutely terrible that the victim has to fight for justice while the perpetrator has so many supporters who are uninformed. And that's the thing, like a lot of people are uninformed. And see, I don't mind somebody having a point. Like people come in here and they be like, free Diddy. I don't bother them. I let them stay. They could say free Diddy. That's their choice. They could want Diddy free. It's when people try to challenge me and they're uninformed. Don't try to challenge me when you're uninformed. If you have an informed opinion, I will listen. I will listen to what you say, but that doesn't mean that I have to agree. That's what I'm waiting for to go. I want to see if they're going to have any of his security come up there and testify, and which side they're going to testify for. Keep going. Oh, Lily. I'm new and I really enjoyed listening. You articulate very well. Thank you for a better understanding of it. Oh, thank you, Apostle Samantha. I just saw your channel. I'm interested, but this is bigger than Puff. He's just one that's going down. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, Julia. Yes. That's why I've been saying, like, who taught this? Who taught him this? And it's very gut-wrenching. It's another stain. It's another stain. But the picture is bigger than this. It's so much bigger than this. It's so much bigger than this. But anyway, you guys. That's my alarm for me to get up. I have been on live with y'all for almost 2 hours. I've been up since 3 o'clock, and I really got to decide what I'm about to do. Mini, guess he never was taught hard head, make a soft, as I believe is already soft like, oh, are many other names being exposed in trial? There are other names that have come up, other celebrities that have come up, but nothing that I think would bring them to the stand. He has been guilty for many years. What is time for some other color ticket? Yeah, I agree with you. I'm there with you, Julia. That's how I feel. Is Cassie the only one that's testified so far? No, Cassie isn't the only one that's testified. Um, Cassie has testified. Two of the escorts that he hired has testified. Two hotel employees have testified. You've had two agents that have testified. Actually, three assistants that have testified. It's a whole smorgasbord of people that have already testified. It's like 16, 17 people. No, Chanel, I didn't see that. What about Diddy's family? Oh, Diddy's family? Yeah, I've seen that. And it is bigger than that. It's bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than his family. There's a whole entity above all of this. And it's just like we keep getting it. Like our community, hip hop keeps getting the stains and black eyes, but no other structure. Like Harvey Weinstein is not even being broadcast right now, and he's being retried. How about that? So is Diddy the distraction to that? What time do you come on to do a live? Outside of the Diddy trial, I usually come on at about 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and then just randomly after that. But with this trial, I've been just randomly popping up whenever. But do we know that before we get involved that black people are going to pay first? Don't we know that? I mean, clearly they didn't, or else we wouldn't be here now with the Diddy trial. We wouldn't be here with R. Kelly. Okay? We wouldn't have all of this going on if people knew that. Think back in the day, they didn't think about that. And now we are educated by watching what has happened, that we know we're the first ones to take the fall. But I think back then, when you're getting a record label of your own and you're coming into all of this money and the doors are being opened for you and you just keep making money and keep more money on top of more money on top of more money, that's just the thing. But what you got to also look at is they target those who come from those rough beginnings, because everybody has that rough beginning. Because the more desperate you are to be out of poverty, to no longer be impoverished, the more likely you are to sell your soul. And by selling your soul, it's not about your literal soul. It's about breaking your moral compass till it doesn't exist anymore. And that's selling your soul. So, but all right, y'all. Thanks for tapping in and tuning in. I'm about to go jump in the shower and, like I said, try to figure out my life. I'll let y'all know what I'm doing. I do want to go down there to the trial, but I've got a lot of stuff. Justin Bieber is really sad what has happened to him. Justin Bieber hasn't come up in the trial. So that's why I'm not talking about Bieber and Usher and all that other stuff, because if they're not talking about it in the courthouse, I'm not talking about it. So, anyway, y'all have a phenomenal day, and remember to vibe high so that the BS don't stick. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, everybody.